All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Coffee with the Freight Coach. My name is Chris Jolly. I am your host, and I am the Freight Coach. Before we jump into today's episode, as always, thank you guys so much for coming out and listening to this podcast. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. This is the real side of freight. Now, what do I mean by that? I only speak to transportation professionals on this show, as well as my weekday live show where we break down industry headlines. Because at the end of the day, you guys, I want to talk to the right people who have done what you're looking to do or who are currently doing what you're trying to achieve to put the right information out there that you can apply, utilize, and see meaningful difference in your business and your life. It's one of the many reasons why I probably fly this American flag behind me every single day. A, we're the greatest nation on earth, but B, I'm living my American dream, and I want to help each and every one of you live yours as well. I do have one small favor to ask. If you get value in what you hear here today, subscribe and share the show, you guys. Rank the show out there on iTunes and Spotify. That's how we are the top transportation podcast, is because if you guys see value in it, your network's going to see value in it as well. All right, I got a very special guest for you guys here today. This is going to be like a video iteration of this as well. So you're going to see some clips posted out on video for the first time. But we're here to talk about our journey in logistics, in starting his freight agency and everything. So I got Nathan Chaney. He's an agency owner with SPI Logistics. So Nathan, thank you so much for taking the time today.
For sure, Chris. I'm happy to be on and happy to talk about freight and logistics with you.
Absolutely, man. We're going to talk about some other stuff too, because Nathan's got some stuff cooking up here that he wants to speak on when it comes down. I'll let him lead in with that here in a little bit. But dude, I'm starting off every single episode like this. How did you get your start in freight? Like, what brought you into transportation?
I usually tell folks that I first majored in supply chain management and logistics. And most folks ask, why did you choose that as a major? And honestly, I go back to, I liked playing with trucks and cars in the dirt when I was a kid. And so that seems like something fun to study. So that's what I'll do. That's really all it boiled down to. It really wasn't any fancier of a thought process that went into it than that. Yeah. And as part of my degree plan at the University of North Texas, you had to have an internship in the field in order to graduate. It was required. So my first internship was with SPI Logistics, and a second one was with PepsiCo. And so in that first, before I even graduated, I was able to see both the 3PL side of the house. I helped do some yard management programming, some 5S sort of projects. And then at PepsiCo, I was actually measuring their carbon footprint. And that was in the early days whenever the SmartWay program was just kicking off. And so I got to be in on that from the ground level when that all started.
So you're the first person who's ever said that they managed or majored in supply chain management to come on my show.
Really?
Maybe some people have, I'm sure, but they never brought that up. I want to
Yeah.
ask, what was the biggest surprise between what they were teaching you in school and what you actually experienced in the job, in the market?
Yeah. So starting out as if you want to say like an analyst or a coordinator straight out of school kind of job, I really did use a lot of the logistics classes, the thinking about lanes and nodes and a lot of Excel work, right? If you're not very proficient at Excel, you're going to be pretty lost, not only in logistics and supply chain, but in a lot of business sort of senses. But I think the biggest surprise that I got is as I went through my career and started to become a manager of people and a manager of processes and facilities, that actually I started to drift a little bit away from the actual technical sort of work. Sorry, we got a little thing beeping here. I started to use less and less of that technical logistics expertise and more of the accounting, ops management, HR, marketing sort of tools that you get as part of a general business degree, and more of a general business practitioner and less of that logistician sort of technical work. And that was really the thing that I think surprised me as I went through my career in supply chain, that it's really just an integral part of business in general. And so you actually use your full sort of toolbox of business tools. And it just so happens to be focused on logistics and supply chain type of efforts in business.
I gotcha. Were a lot of your professors like former workers in the industry and then they just came back to teach? Because those were always my favorite people to learn from. Are like, I remember one of my accounting professors he was the CFO of a company in town. He was just like he taught because he just wanted to give back. And then my project management professor, same thing. Like, he was an active project manager with a large construction company. So it's like having that tangible experience. And I think that's what's just so relatable because again, whether you're going to go to college or not, Me personally, I always learn best from people who have done the work, right? I don't like theory all of that much. I want to know, hey, what's going to happen in this situation and how did you personally deal with it? Did you find much of that in that route, or was it mainly they were just career professors?
A mixture of both. I would say most of what I was exposed to in my undergrad was career professors. The lead professor, if you'd say, was actually a retired US Air Force.
Oh,
And he spent his entire career in logistics in the Air Force.
gotcha.
And so he was able to bring some of that perspective to the classroom. Other ones were researchers and, if you want to say, scientists in the field of logistics and supply chain management. But it was where I got to see that real world experience and get to hear things about logistics on the front lines was a lot of times from guest speakers
Yeah.
that would come and speak, and they would come bring that sort of boots on the ground perspective, or like field trips, if you will. I was part of the Logistics Student Association, and we would go and tour different facilities. I always remember that we toured the F-22 line at Lockheed Martin down in Fort Worth.
Oh, no.
And that production line, I think, was like over a mile long under one roof in one building. And that was just mind blowing. So we got to go out and see exactly what it feels like to be in and amongst logistics and operations.
So seeing it from that perspective, because again, I think I've been around the industry my whole life. Like I come from a family of truck drivers, and like when I was in college, like I loaded trucks at a large distribution center because they paid the most money, right? But it's
Mhm.
like I've been able to experience logistics from multiple different angles. How has that played into you building your brokerage, right? Like building out your agency. Has there been a lot of direct correlations where you've been able to either tailor your sales pitch because what they're going through on like the supply side of things when it comes to acquiring raw materials and delays and stuff that come from that aspect? Is there any direct correlations? Has there been any of those aha moments for you?
Sure. So actually, I guess the broader answer to your question is I started my agency with SPI to basically add to my toolkit of services that I provide as a supply chain consultant in general.
Yeah.
So I wanted to not only be able to just go into operations and leverage those experiences and the various sort of things I've seen throughout my career, not only bring that sort of advisor type of role, but also actually be able to execute and actually move stuff. And so that was really what got me looking at SPI to add that into kind of my service offering to be a well-rounded supply chain company in general. And that's really where I'm heading. The sort of company that I've started recently that I'm working to grow right now, and SPI is part of that, is called Supply Chaney. And really cool opportunity to capitalize
Yeah.
on a name that wasn't really doing a lot for me all these years, but now I'm excited to be able to put it to use. The URL, the domain name, everything was all available. Supply Chainy, I'm looking to grow that. And SPI is part of that sort of growth plan to become, like I said, like an all encompassing supply chain provider.
So as a consultant, because you see people out there, they'll put whatever consultant in there, like they're freight brokers at the end of the day. I'm not like, I know you're taking a different angle with it in that, but it's people labeling themselves whatever all over social media. So it's like, how are you actually like breaking down somebody's operation from that perspective, right? Like when you're going in there and you're looking at it, is it their inbound raw materials? Is it their production line? Is it their inventory management systems? What are you like really attacking from that perspective to be like, hey, here's your inefficiencies in here. This is where you can implement a process of X, Y, and Z.
Sure. So this is a funny story. In that internship in SIVA, my first real task was writing SOPs for all the departments
Gotcha.
within the SIVA branch here in Dallas. And who would have thought that for the rest of my life, so much of what I do would be involving SOPs, and that so much of the business world and operations revolves around having everything documented so that you have a consistent, efficient, and reliable sort of process day after day. And honestly, that's a really good example of the kind of work that I do is I can go into a customer and identify where they are missing there's gaps in their processes, and those are breaking down. And that's what's leading to issues of where you have inconsistent sort of outcomes with your products. You have customers that are not quite happy. You have employees that you have high turnover because they don't know exactly what they're supposed to be doing. Like I was mentioning earlier, it's not so much the logistics technicalities of it. It's just running a good, reliable, well-documented business that you can go show up every day on Monday, wash, rinse, and repeat through Friday, and then enjoy the weekend. And so there's a lot of companies that kind of struggle to just get the basics of good business practices down. And that's really where I think I provide value
Yeah.
is because I've been part of large corporations, Fortune 500s, as well as Silicon Valley tech startups, as well as logistics companies, 3PLs. So I have that well-rounded sort of experience to bring to folks that, and I got to say, I don't care to call myself a consultant. I still feel like it's a big term and it's thrown around a lot. But I like to say more that I'm just providing some operations support where they either don't have the bandwidth themselves, or they maybe just don't have that experience of seeing a lot of different facilities and different operations to be able to bring new innovative ideas to improve their operations.
Yeah, no, I got you, man. I think that's one of the biggest things that a lot of small companies are lacking. There's probably companies of large size that are lacking too, is
Oh yeah.
document processes and SOPs. And it's one of those things that like I'm really the most proud of inside of my brokerage, inside of my agency. Is like we took we spent a lot of our early days building the infrastructure, right? Like,
Mhm.
having those SOPs, having those training. Dude, we have 80 plus hours of training documents already laid out there. So if we hired somebody on Monday, their first 2 weeks on the job is already documented and ready to go for them to follow for us to work through them. And then other things too about working inside of the TMS and like how do you pull a carrier off a load or how do you build a load? And we spent a lot of time and a lot of emphasis on that because for me personally, that's an area that like I personally lack in, right? Is I don't write anything down. My business partner does. He's
Yeah.
phenomenal when it comes down to it. He's a former engineer. He loves to create spreadsheets for the sake of creating spreadsheets. I swear.
I mean, yeah.
But you need them, and I see the importance of it. But it's if you're looking at it from like an infrastructure thing in business, like that doesn't excite me. Like sales and operations, casting the vision, all of that. That I love that stuff. But like writing, I know what I need to do every single day. I have an internal process in my head. I just don't write anything down. And you see that very common. But again, like that's an area where a lot of people, that's an angle a lot of people can take either as a broker or whatnot is how do you build up a process for your shippers that you're working with and then work them through that to help improve them? Because it's as a broker, when you're cold calling somebody, I can't be like, what does your internal processes look like? It's more about me identifying how they operate, how they tender freight, or what information I'm looking for. And then I can take that and build up my own process on a per customer basis because I have some shippers that I work with that are very detailed in their stuff, right? Because they're dealing with multi-million dollar machines and there's job sites and crews and everything that come in for it. And then I have other shippers who are like, hey, here's where it picks up, here's where it delivers, here's the dimensions, run. And boom, I have to take both of them as a service provider and mold myself to the way that they operate. Because I think that at times, a lot of people wait for the opportunities to come to them, or they're like, hey, why don't you just operate this way? And it's like, that's not the way that individual is comfortable in it. Cause I have some customers who will not pick up my phone to save my life. Like they'll reply to emails in 2 seconds, but if I called them, not answering. Then I have some, I'll email them, they won't respond, but they'll pick up on the first ring. So
Right.
it's identifying how they work. And as a service provider, I think that's very key. And then to your point about processes, document all of that stuff and create customer profiles and run with that. I think that's what's going to build a lot of loyalty. And again, because consistency is everything, especially in freight. Consistency is literally everything.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. An example, like I said, is because it's a holistic sort of thing, supply chain touches every aspect of a company. I believe logistics runs the world. So you've got processes, logistics processes that rely on people. So there's an HR component. Your logistics processes tie into your accounting systems
Yep.
and your finance sort of decisions. So there's an accounting and financial component to everything. So really to bring expertise in supply chain and logistics as an advisor or as a broker, really having some competency in all aspects of business, it just helps you be that much more valuable to your clients.
Yeah. So how are you, what's from an entrepreneur standpoint right now, man? You're out there building all this stuff up. You hear the market, the conditions, and everybody seems to be like talking people out of pursuing their dreams and stuff like that. What's that thing that keeps you coming back every day?
Whoa, that's a good question, Chris. So I think what kind of keeps me coming back is I've always had an entrepreneurial leaning, even as I have a friend who likes to call it a Johnny White badge for many
Yeah.
years. Even though that's been the environment that I've been in, I've been fortunate to get a lot of really valuable experience from a lot of great mentors, a lot of great companies, even bad companies that have allowed me to grow personally and professionally that I think has set me up to be able to go out on my own and try to make something happen. And I think just being financially careful all these years and saving up and being ready with my network, with my experiences, and just financially to be able to step out of that comfort zone and take a risk. And it was 9 months ago that sort of opportunity came about. And I'm not getting any younger. And my goal has always been that my retirement plan is to have a couple of businesses that can help to push me into retirement and get me sitting on a beach somewhere drinking cocktails while I'm still not too old. So it's always just working through the career. And it just feels like the next step.
I think it's good that you know that. I don't possess that ability. There's no finish line for me, right? When it comes down to, hey, I want to retire to a beach at a certain age. I can't say that I'll always be that way. Maybe when I'm in my 50s or 60s, I might be like, I'm done. I might look and be like, all right, I can sell this. I'm good. I don't need to work ever again. That
Yeah.
might change, but I'm glad that it's refreshing to hear you say that, right? Because I think that a lot of people get into entrepreneurship or even into work and they have a false sense of what they actually want. And I think that leads you down a path of so much resistance, right? But when you're clear about it, hey, this is what I want to do. I want to build it to this. And I want to get it to a point where I'm going to be able to retire or sell it or whatever and go to the beach. There's a lot of power in that. There really is, man, because I spent so long trying to be something like that I didn't want to be, right? And it's like all the weight in the world is lifted off of your shoulders when you're just like completely comfortable inside of your own skin, following your vision. You're able to put on like the blinders of, hey, I don't care what anybody else is doing. This is what I'm doing. Because frankly, what you do inside of your brokerage or me or anybody else is that doesn't affect me. It's what am I doing inside of my business to move myself closer to my goals and my like how I'm going to achieve everything that I've laid out. And that's good because it's when you're also, we were talking yesterday for the first time you were leading into, hey, I want to try this as well. And I'm going to add this component in there. And you're really clear on what you're doing. I don't know if anybody's ever told you that. I want to just point that out to you and let you know it's refreshing, and it's good at the end of the day because that's your goal. That's your vision. I might not have that exact same goal or vision, but I love hearing that you do. And because as somebody who, I mean, I'm just a couple years into this at the end of the day, right? Like I'm
Yeah.
3 years self-employed. I don't know anything. That's the only thing I'm certain of is I don't know anything. I have a lot to learn no matter what. And but it's like, all right, I know what I want to build. I know what I am going to build. And when you have that crystal clear vision, you can minimize so much outside noise and you can just focus on you. Like when we were talking yesterday, because you're talking about the content side of things and how you're going to build it out. And I want to talk about that because that's a great avenue. And anybody who comes to me, fortunately, man, I got a decent sized brand in the industry, right? But it comes with a lot of hard work and it's a lot of dedication to coming up with it. But a lot of people are reaching out. They're like, hey, I want to start creating content. And I'll tell anybody what they need, right? This is the hosting site that I use. This is the equipment that I use. Go after it and do it. Because the hardest part's always starting, right? And most importantly, though, is it's if your main focus is always on, and we were talking about this yesterday. I mean, I just want to help one person, right? Like that, it took me probably 15 or 16 months of creating content to shift my perspective entirely from, oh, I want to grow the biggest thing ever to, man, as long as one person who can listen to this and be like, I'm going to apply that. Like those DMs that I get, because, like when I'm talking about like cold calling and cold emailing and business development stuff, and I'll get a DM from somebody that will tell me like, hey, I applied what you said and I got a customer out of the deal. I love those messages. Those are my absolute favorite. And that's where I've focused everything to. And it's the same thing inside of my brokerage. One truckload at a time is my mentality, right? Because I
Mhm.
know that I'm not guaranteed that next shipment with a customer, right? I have to earn that stuff, just like I have to earn everybody who is gracious enough to give me their time to download my podcast and to listen to my stuff and who's going to watch this and that. This is all earned. And as long as it helps one person, man, that's all I'm after.
Yeah, I appreciate the kind words and the feedback, but this clarity of sort of mission and purpose did not happen overnight. And actually, it's only just recently come into being,
Really?
really recently. It was really, like I said, jumping off the corporate wagon 9 months ago with not a perfectly clear idea of what I wanted to do. It's really been over this 9 months that I've been thinking through. I started with just the consulting gig and then added on the trucking brokerage piece, added on warehouse brokering. And what I realized is that I guess we all get more mature, we get a little more wiser, and we've realized to not fight against the sort of inborn interest and skills, abilities that we have, and just try to leverage those. Don't try to, if your passion is photography and that's just what you really love, for example, don't go try to open up a handyman business. It's not, you're going to struggle with that. So try to go with what you've got. And what I have is I have this like just tenacious sort of appetite for networking. Like I love meeting new people. I love seeing new places and seeing new experiences. And I feel like that I do that just for fun. I go and set up meetings to go tour places, and I'm not trying to win business. I'm just really just interested in how they operate and what they do. And so I realized that I can pair that sort of just born, built-in sort of interest and curiosity that I have about things with the really robust network that I've been able to build over the years, being part of a lot of networking groups, a lot of industry organizations, the Council of Supply Chain Management Professionals. I was on the board for that for 8 years, and that resulted in the last 2 years, I was the president of that group here in DFW, it just as an example amongst others. And so I've got what I feel really fortunate to have is a really big network of professionals in the industry that I can tap to get me into facilities to be able to go recreate what I used to do back in college, which was go out and tour and see facilities. And not everybody gets the time away from their desk or away from the dock or warehouse to be able to go see and learn and touch and feel other places.
Yeah.
And that's really where innovation and inspiration comes from. And there's also, sometimes there's costs associated with that. You've got to pay membership fees to be part of an organization. You've got to pay to go on some tour of a plant or a facility or a dock. And so there's costs and there's time and there's just hurdles to overcome. And what I'm looking to do with my upcoming sort of media channel is to bring all that into an easily digestible visual sort of tour through various types of operations and facilities, all within the supply chain space, to bring that education and inspiration to folks just starting out in logistics. Maybe they're students, they're trying to figure out what kind of career path they want to go down in business or in logistics more specifically, or you're kind of entry level folks that are looking to sharpen their skill to move up to a supervisor status or get that next career move, all the way up to managers and directors that want to take what they see other companies doing, best practices, and craft those and implement those into their businesses. And for those companies that will host episodes, they get obviously some recruiting visibility for folks that might be interested in working. They'll get kind of like a behind the scenes, how it's made, dirty jobs type of look at what things look like within that business. And it also provides some marketing visibility content for prospective customers to learn a little bit more about that company. That's going to be still fine tuning the name, but the working title at the moment is Supply Chaney on Tour. And so it's going to be MTV Cribs, Dirty Jobs type 10-minute episodes, walking through and interviewing the operations managers, the supervisors of all kinds of facilities, from a brewery all the way up to a big cross dock and a 1 million square foot warehouse and a production facility making jets, right? So all of these places, they all have logistics and supply chains operating, feeding raw materials. They have a finished good that they're moving out. And there's all these logistics and operations in between. And I really just want to highlight all those things and educate and inspire folks in the industry.
Oh, I love that, man. I think it's always content to everything, right? When it comes from a marketing perspective, recruiting, everything that you're talking about, whether it's for the people that you're interviewing there or the shippers. And because it's, man, my content, that's how I met SPI, right? At the end of the day, that's how I got in touch with them. And they do a phenomenal job from a content perspective and where they're going and reaching more and more people of it. And then I think that's what I love the most about the relationship that I have with them. Like the support is insane, right? It's the support that SPI provides it's second to none. It truly is. Because it's not just hey, do this and build your agency. They're like, no, how do you get out there and help more people? How do you reach more people? And just like you brought up networking, and that's another thing too, man, is like the network effect of that is the amount of people that I've met through this partnership and through everything is so key. And it's something that I did such a terrible job of early on for the majority of my career is I didn't network, right? Like the network that I've been able to fortunately build over these last couple of years, I had no idea how powerful networking truly was. And then, man, I've been able to land a couple of shippers based off of the content that I create. Somebody watches it and they're like, hey, I want to introduce you to this friend of mine who does this. It's wild, right? Like it's wild that you can build all of this up. And again, like nobody's really taking that angle with it. And I think it's a new age approach to freight brokerage and to transportation entirely because it's a wide open field of opportunity for anybody who wants to create content from any angle inside of transportation. It's untapped. It's still untapped. I don't care what anybody says. The possibilities are truly endless. And again, like, man, you can make such a big difference out there. And whether it's you building up your personal brand or helping your prospects or your shippers that you're working with their marketing stuff too, man, because it's dude, like not everybody has it all figured out. And it's just another good angle. And talking about that networking effect that comes along with it. How much cooler are cold calls when it's a warm introduction from a friend of a friend who's, hey, you got to talk to this individual. I met them. They align with what you're doing. Man, that's the best. And that's what people pay tons and tons of money for every single year is to get those warm leads. And it's like taking it from that angle of, hey, let's highlight your company, right? Because that's somebody's story, right? Like when you're going out there and you're talking to, like you brought up the dirty jobs angle, like my long-term vision for all of this, man, is to be like the blue collar Joe Rogan, right? I want to talk to everybody from welders to pipe fitters to garbage men to anybody out there who's making a difference in their world because this country was built on the blue collar worker and it's going to always be sustained by the blue collar jobs. And I want to highlight that stuff, right? Because I come from a working class background at the end of the day. I'm from a family of blue collar workers. Did manual labor for the majority of my life. And that's why I say now, man, it's like I don't work now physically, right? I sit in an air conditioned office all day. I move freight and do that. But man, I'm not out there loading trucks anymore. Or I'm not out there strapping down a flatbed when it's 105 degrees out or anything like that. So it's like, how do we continue to build up a network of value driven content that helps keep people in business and then highlights those small family run operations? Man, I love it when you see the third generation taking over a family owned business that's 100 years old. Man, I love that stuff. And then I love that you're going out there and you're going to be interviewing them and you're going to be highlighting them. I think most people are going to be completely open to that.
Yeah, we will see. We'll see how it all goes. I'm excited about it for sure, though. And I'm looking to try to, leverage that and capitalize that sort of visibility and name recognition, similar to you, over time to be able to build more onto my business and maybe break out of the brokerage and kind of asset light model and maybe put the name on some buildings and some trucks and go a little bit more all in on a full-fledged logistics company. But those are, again, their dreams, their ideas, there's a lot of steps between here and there. So just one load at a time.
Yeah, I feel you, man. But I like what you said. The only difference between my dreams and where I am today is the time it's going to take for me to achieve them. That's something that I go through my head all the time because, man, it's like there's so much uncertainty. There's so much everything in the world. It's control what I can control. And to me, it's showing up every day. It's doing my live show every day or creating my podcast every day, making my cold outreaches to my prospects every single day, reaching out to my current shippers every single day and doing that. And again, it's a privilege to be able to do what I do every single day compared to what a lot of people go through in whatever. I think everybody could make a change if they really wanted to. I truly believe that. But I also feel like, man, this is truly, if you follow my content a lot, you're probably noticed that I haven't dropped any curse words on this episode, but it's also the fact that I don't always do that for starters. And when you do hear me, if you do follow me a lot and you hear me, like I am a man of faith. Like this comes as a shock to some people, but I am a man of faith. And I know that everything I have is because God's blessed me with all of this. And I am very aware of that. And that's why it's like what I've been able to achieve is I got to work that much harder to keep it, right? Because this isn't I have to work 10 times harder. I work more scared today, Nathan, than I did when I first started and I had zero revenue, zero everything. I'm more afraid today than I was back then. And that comes because I know how much of a gift this opportunity really is. And I don't want to see it all go to the wayside because of just some stupidity.
Yeah. When you have something that's worth losing, you care more about it. Back when you did have revenue, if you lost that, a lot of big change in scenery. But once you get into a state of homeostasis, so you get used and comfortable to where you're at today. As humans, we're always trying to progress and get better. We're not
Yeah.
really looking for regression and going back to the way things were because we're comfortable where we are. And naturally in our culture, I guess it's always to get bigger, better, and improve on where we are today, which is everybody subscribes to that in one way or another. Like you said, I think that there's those of us that are following in the footsteps of others that have been fortunate to have mentors, to be able to see other people be successful. And we get to be inspired by them to break out and try to do something new and crazy and different, possibly. And we're not thinking about it, I think, but we are in some ways being that inspiration for somebody else later on down the line as well. Like you said, it's really, we are the result of all the experiences and the people that have poured themselves into us over the years. And by doing the best job that we can day in and day out is how we thank them for what they've done for us.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you, man. And again, it's like none of this is a game to me, Nathan. Like this is literally how I feed my family and keep a roof over their head. And it wasn't always like that though, man. Like when I was an employee for somebody, like that direct deposit hit every 2 weeks, right? Like no matter what, I got that paycheck. And when I only eat on what I kill, and I love it. Don't get me wrong, I'm addicted to this game, but I value every single partnership that I have 10 times more than I ever would have
Oh yeah.
in my previous life. The fact that SPI believes in me as much as they do from a content perspective, but let alone having an agency through them it means everything in the world. And that's then also my other advertisers, VHub, LoadSmart, Green Screens, and then all my shippers that I get to work with. The fact that people pay me money, I don't take that lightly, right? Because I know what it's like to not have anything. And the constant rejection. The rejection doesn't go away or anything like that, but it's like, man, when you get that yes, you work 10 times harder to keep that yes. Like I said, one truck at a time, man. You got to earn that business. You got to earn that every single day. And that's like probably one of the one pieces of advice I feel comfortable giving out there. Cause again, like I'm still new in entrepreneurship. I don't know much. Like I said, I know a lot of what not to do, but it's everything is earned and you have to keep that mentality. Everything is earned no matter what. And if you understand that, and I think like you're going to have, it's not going to make anything easier, but you're going to have a different perspective on how things really are. And I think that you're going to achieve more of an appreciation for building stuff out for yourself. And that's what I'm looking forward to. But I know that work, dude. This is the thing. Nate and I literally met for the first time yesterday. We've had 2 conversations in total now. We've easily filled up over an hour of both of them. And it just feels, dude, I just enjoy talking to you, Nathan. I really do. I think that you're just starting to scratch the surface of everything. And when it comes down to your content stuff, man. So I know, how does anybody find out more about what you're trying to do with this? If they want their company, are you going to start local in DFW for this stuff? So how can anybody reach out to find out more or plug that stuff, man? Get that out there. I want to help you with your content stuff any way I possibly can, man.
Sure. Yeah. So best way to get in touch, learn more would be online at my website, which is supplychaney.com. That's CHANEY, supplychaney.com. And that's really the one-stop shop that can take care of any questions, got my contact info and whatnot on there.
Perfect, man. Nate, thank you so much for joining me today. I had a great time talking with you. And again,
Likewise, Chris.
it's just, it's funny because we literally just met yesterday for the first time. And dude, I'm really looking forward to seeing how you grow this stuff out. And again, from a media perspective, if you have any questions about just even equipment, right? Like microphones, dude, just hit me up.
Yeah,
I'm here to help in any way I can. Okay.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Anytime. And hey, if you guys made it this far in the episode, which I'm sure you did, and you got value in what you heard here today, subscribe and share the show, you guys. Rank this show. That's how we've grown into the top transportation podcast, is because of each and every one of you. And that if you guys see value, your network's going to see value in it as well. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. And we'll be talking to you soon.